This is Sound Personal Cell for Onile. Today, ọmọ tó ní bàbá òun kò mọ Ọkàá rò. Ìtàn bí ìyá rẹ̀ ṣe ló fẹ́ gbọ́. Ọkàá in Yoruba is a kind of meal which is popularly known as amala. More people know it as amala, but it is also called Ọkàá. So when a child complains that the father is not good at making amala, that child has called for the story of how the mother left the marriage. Now, basically, it is the duty of the mother to prepare the meal. So when your father is the one preparing you amala, and on serving you your portion, you dip your hand into the amala meal and you have the guts to say, "Daddy, you are not good at making amala." You have called for the story of how your mother left the marriage. Maybe you want to say the amala is not smooth enough because it's expected to be smooth and fluffy without lumps. So maybe you want to say the amala may have lumps, it may not be smooth enough, it may not be stretchy enough, it may be half done. But the father, it was your father that made it. Calls for some caution and understanding from you. So if you lack the sense to see that after all, amala making should not be daddy's duty. If you lack the sense to have that, you lack that sense, you lack the understanding, and you have the guts, you have the audacity to say, "Dad, you're not good at making amala," that day you have called for the story of how your mother left the marriage. Ọmọ tó ní bàbá òun ò mọ Ọkàá rò. Ìtàn bí ìyá rẹ̀ ṣe ló fẹ́ gbọ́. Now, that amala is symbolic, is representative of your father's performances in different things. It may be in anything at all, but it represents your father's performance. The proverb is telling you that it is beyond the child to rate, to score the performances of the father. And the story of how your mother left the marriage is symbolic of much, much more than that. Not only how she left, but all of her deficiencies would come along in the story that you have called for. Ọmọ tó ní bàbá òun ò mọ Ọkàá rò. Ìtàn bí ìyá rẹ̀ ṣe ló fẹ́ gbọ́. Now, there are situations that your dad may be the one to prepare the meal if you are still very young and unable to prepare your meal when the situation warrants or when it is meal time. Now, there are situations that it will happen normally and everybody would understand. For instance, if your mom is away on a journey, your mom has just put to bed your younger sibling, or your mom is not feeling too well. In those situations, when there are no other people around, your dad may be the one to prepare the meal. And in a situation like that, let me tell you, in a situation like that, if you say, "Dad," if you have the guts to say, "Dad, this amala is not smooth enough," no, you haven't called for any story, because your mother has not left the marriage. That proverb is not for you. Your father will still treat it with understanding, because there is no issue, there are no issues between him and your mom. Your mom is only sick Your mom is only away on an important journey. Your mom has just put to bed. So if you are silly enough to say, Dad, you are not good at making amala, your dad may just smack you, or he may simply take that with understanding, because he knows that this duty is temporary. Your mom is coming back soon to come and resume her duties. So he will just smile, because him making amala is not something that would continue for a very long time. But when your mom has left that marriage and you have the guts to make yourself the judge of your father's performances, then you have called for the story of how your mother left the marriage. You have even called for more. You have called for the details of your mother's indiscipline. All the things that your mother did wrong, that day you will hear them. Mind you, in those days, if you were so silly to say, Dad, you are not good at making amala, and your dad smacks you, or he gets angry, or he visits that on your mother by telling you all the naughty and nasty things that your mother did, in those days it will just end within your household. The story will just end within your household, and you will just take it and caution yourself and tell yourself not to do that next time. It is beyond you to be your daddy's examiner, you know. But today, if you dare it, in this era of social media, if you dare it, it is not only you who would hear the story of how your mother left the marriage. The whole world will hear that on many occasions your mother didn't wash her pants. Yes, you called for it. So I feel that young people will get that into their skull, that it is beyond them to rate their father's performances. Yes, some mothers, in fact some mothers won't take it too, but there are mothers who would allow their child to smack them, to slap them, to drag them on the floor, to make them crawl on the floor, to pull them by their leggings, to do all sorts of things with them as playmates, only just because they want to create content to make money. It is for that mother. But fathers generally, apart from the fathers generally will not take that. The society too does not smile at that. No. It is beyond you to say your dad is stupid or was stupid. Who are you, girl? Who are you, boy, to say your father is a stupid man? Then automatically you are a descendant of stupidity. So it is beyond you. And like I said, it is not only when your mom it is not only when your mom had left you with your dad. Sometimes you are with your mom, your dad is away, but if you say it, see, for sometimes the things that you say that prompt people to tell you the story of how your mother left the marriage and all the indiscipline and all the things that are unwholesome in her life. Sometimes it is not even your dad that you say it to. Sometimes you just say it to a neighbor who happen to know the story of your dad and mom. You just say it to a neighbor and they tell you, come here. We knew your dad and mom when they were living together, and your mom was such an idiot, you know. Sometimes it is not even a neighbor, it is an auntie, an uncle, or somebody who knew the story very well. And if you dare say things that are derogatory about your dad, just because your mom has fed you with things that she should not have fed you with, and you dare say things about your dad that are not, welcome. Anybody at all can call you to order and say, no, We were there. We knew your mother. Your mother was this and she was that. So the lesson in this anyway is for young people, particularly when your dad and mom are no longer together. If you don't want to hear how stupid your mother was or still is, if you don't want to hear how dirty your mother was, if you don't want to learn that your mother was once a thief, if you don't want to hear that your mother was once a prostitute, if you don't want to hear that your mother was once a street fighter, if you don't want to hear that your mother was once stripped naked at the market square, don't ever open your mouth to say that on this issue between my dad and mom, my mom was right and my father was wrong. You will hear mwe. If you know what we call mwe in Nigeria, you will hear that. The issue between your dad and mom is none of your business. Your business is to be a good child to both of them, to your dad and to your mom. Yes, even when there are no issues between your dad and mom, naturally, children, when they begin to earn money, when they begin to work, they begin to make money. Reasonable children, many reasonable children will just know that this person has contributed more to my life to bring me to this point that I am, and secretly they top up what they are going to give to that person. It may be sometimes it's the father, sometimes it's the mother. There are children who love their dad more, and there are those who love their mom more, just because they have seen their labor of love, and they see that the labor of love from this side is higher than the labor of love from that side. And so when they are bringing the envelopes, one envelope is fatter than the other envelope, and they know who takes the fatter envelope and they know who should take the slim envelope. People do all of that, but secretly you won't even let the other spouse know that the envelope that you have given to the partner is bigger. People do that. That is, you know, that is common. But for you to now come to the publicly say that your father was irresponsible, what you have said, even before others begin to tell you the story of how stupid your mother was, what you have said by yourself is that you are ill-bred. Because the issue between your dad and mom can never be clear to you enough. You can never see enough of it. They've been together before you were born. And that one was not, that time, that season, that phase of their relationship was not witnessed by you. And the story that you hear from either side may never be 100% accurate. So it is not for you to be the judge. Your mom cannot be your father. No. No, your mom doesn't produce sperms, if you care to know. She produces eggs, not sperms. So the sperm came from somewhere. It was not from your mom. And in a case that your dad was there till you were named, maybe your dad determined the name that was given to you, or maybe your dad was the one who picked the bills for your first birthday, or maybe your dad was the one who picked the bill for the christening, the naming ceremony, or maybe you had gone to live with your dad's people at some point in the journey of your life as kids, or whatever. But there are things that your dad had contributed that is beyond you. That is what made him your dad. No, he's been made your dad before you begin to have sense. You know, he's been made your dad the moment your mother got pregnant. So you can't change that. That is what they mean when they say forever. Oh Lord, thy word is settled in heaven. Your dad being your dad is the word of God that is forever settled in heaven and on earth. You cannot change it. That has been ordained, that person is your dad. If you now say, because your dad didn't give you fish or didn't give you meat at some point, your dad is no longer your dad, people may begin to see how stupid you are. Yes, your mom slept with that man. It doesn't matter whether the man is now a madman or whatever. But he remains your dad regardless of whatever. He is your dad. You may not like your dad, but he's your dad. You may say, Dad, I don't like you. Yeah, but he's your dad. You can't change it. Trying to say your dad is not your dad and somebody else is your dad is trying to, it's beyond you. Please, I don't want to sound negative, but what that means is I don't want to, because it's beyond you. I don't want to say you are trying to change the order, the pronouncement, the ordination of God. It's beyond you. You can't even do it. So your dad is your dad and your mom is your mom. You know, there are times too, Yorubas have more proverbs in favor of men. It's okay. But by common sense, we know that there are times too that it is, it may be the mother that has been so nasty. It may also be the father that has been so nasty. So if it is your father that is not present, and you now say, Mom, why have you not paid my school fees? Why she's struggling to make up the amount to go and pay, and you are so silly not to recognize the little efforts that she is making. You have also called for the story of how irresponsible your dad was or your dad is. So young people, young boys, young girls, young ladies, young lads, it is beyond you to rate, to judge, to score your dad or your mom. You don't do that. You don't do that. You just want to be a good child to your dad, to attract blessings from God. And you just want to be the best that you can be to your mom, to attract blessings from God. See, people say, when things like this happen, people are quick to say that it is their mother who have done them, who has taught them to be rude to their dad. Sometimes they say, is that what your dad told you? It is possible. There may be people who will paint the other partner black in the presence of their children or to their children. It is possible. But sometimes too, it is not. Some children are just nasty. Some are just rude. Yeah, it is. And do you know that there are also times that a parent may want to paint the other partner black to the children, and the children would say, no, don't say that about my dad, because there are times that a child has never seen the dad, but because that guy's blood runs in his or her veins, the love will still be there, and they will say, they will be angry. Ask women, ask single parents, a dad who has never been present, a dad who has never contributed anything to your life, that you have never met, that you have never seen. Your mom comes to say your dad was da, and the girl or boy frowns, and the mother says that he or she is not pleased, that the dad is being abused. Those are children with depth, because they know that that father is the source. In Yoruba, they will say, Obi eni, Orun eni. Your father is your heaven. The two of them put together are your heaven. So you don't throw shades at your heaven. You don't, young lad. You don't. Ọmọ tó ní ìyá òun ò mọ ọkàá rò, bàbá òun ò mọ ọkàá rò, ìtàn bí ìyá rẹ̀ ṣe lọ ló fẹ́ gbọ́. Kódà ọmọ tó tún ní ìyànjú ìyá òun náà ò tó, tí bàbá rẹ̀ ò sí lárọ̀ọ́wọ́tó, ó wá níyànjú ìyá rẹ̀ ò tó. Ìtàn bí bàbá rẹ̀ ṣe yamu gbogbo ṣe yọ̀mù tí, òun ló fẹ́ gbọ́. Tó bá sì gbọ́, inú rẹ̀ ò ní dùn. You won't be happy. You won't. So leave your dad and your mom alone. Let them sort let them sort themselves out, please. And particularly when both are remarried. The mother had gone to remarry. You know, there are situations whereby the mother had gone to remarry. Once you have gone to remarry, that guy of day before yesterday shouldn't be a critical issue in your story again, because you've moved past that. Once you have gone to remarry, that lady of day before yesterday should not be an issue in your today again, a critical issue. It could be a minor issue, but it shouldn't be a critical issue in your story again, because you've moved past that. So learn that, children. Don't ever get involved in an argument, a controversy, a disagreement, a fight, or whatever issues between your parents. A story popped out recently on the social media about a court case between a woman and the husband. They've been apart for some time, and they have fought dirty on the social media. But within the court premises, it was reported that when the son cited the father, that son went to the father and prostrated flat. That son is a star. And that's it. I think every child should learn from that. Your dad is your dad by that sperm. Yes, he became your dad by that sperm. If after that he may perform well, he may not perform well. That is between him and your mom. Let them sort that out. But don't attract curses to yourself. Don't attract bad press to yourself. Don't attract public what do they call it? Public negative, don't attract public negativity to yourself. Don't attract public rebuke to yourself. Just live your life as a smart child and grow and blossom and bless them both for the bits that each of them have been able to do. God, the Almighty, knows who was wrong and who was right, and He will visit each of them accordingly. Yes, that is for Him. If your dad was wrong, God will visit him accordingly. If your mom was wrong, God will visit her accordingly. Let Him. Let God, please. So I'll see you again. Bye for now.